Hi everybody, and welcome back to another Shearer Smokes. And you join me in the town of Bo'ness, and I'm just down at Bo'ness Harbour. Now Bo'ness is just outside Falkirk, so it's about a 10-minute drive from where I actually work. So I've came down for a little after work morning bowl. Now Bo'ness has quite a rich history of industry, mainly coal mining and clay mines. And in fact it was once known, because there were so many drop pits in the area, it was known as the Petropolis of Scotland, because of the amount of drop pits that were in the area. Bo'ness is also famous for its steam railway, which is still open to the public, and it has during the seasons it has different excursions. It's a 10-mile track, and if I remember rightly, it was a few years ago I did it now, but I'm sure it takes you down to one of the actual old clay mines, and I'm sure you can do a visit into the said mine. So that's maybe something to look forward to doing in the summer. I shall add that to the list of things to do. But the history of Bo'ness actually goes further back. I've got a little trusty journal, so I'm just going to check the dates, and it's famous, as I say, back in history in the Roman Empire days, because this was actually the eastern end of the Antonine Wall. Now the Antonine Wall was built in AD 142, and this part of the Roman Empire was the northernmost border. So the Antonine Wall stretches quite a fair bit through Bo'ness through to Falkirk, and small parts of it still remain today. But yeah, it's of huge historical interest. So yeah, so Bo'ness is just outside Falkirk, and a short run from where I work. So I've came down this morning for an early morning bowl after work, and I've come into a sort of mini tunnel, which you'll have seen at the top of the video. It's not as big as it looks. It's actually quite tiny. I'm quite surprised I actually fit in here with the old vintage deck chair. It's a nice little break from the wind. There was a really heavy downpour, which thankfully has stopped, and there is blue skies behind me. And yeah, it's my first visit down to the harbour, to the shore side, and it's a nice looking area. So there's a lot of nice walks and such, and I think on a really summer's day it would be a perfect spot. But this is fine this morning, and yeah, it's another good spot for a quiet pipe after work. So that leads me to the pipe in question, and it's got a bit of history to its name as well, because it's a bit of a mystery pipe to me. I'm just going to hold up the camera, and hopefully the sun's behind the camera, so I'm hoping that's picking it up okay. I will pop in some close-up pictures. Now, in regards to the mystery of this pipe, this did belong to my granddad, but unused. My gran had it in a box or tin somewhere, and she gave a load of things to me that belonged to my granddad, and inside the tin was this pipe. And this was many years ago, so I've had this for, I don't know, it must be at least 20 odd years myself, maybe longer actually. And at that point, of course, I didn't have an interest in pipes. It was cigars mainly, so I'm glad I kept it in my collection, stashed away. So now it's on one of my pipe racks. Now the reason for the mystery is I have no idea where it came from. I'm not even sure what kind of pipe that is. I'm hoping that one of you guys will be able to enlighten me on that. The only evidence I do have, or information on it, is, and again I'll show you a wee close-up, on the stem here it has Made in England stamped on it, and it also has the word reject. So I did a little bit of research myself, and seemingly reject pipes are quite common from some of the bigger brand producers. So again, I have no clue where it came from, or where my granddad picked it up, or who actually manufactured it. So again, I'd be really appreciative if anyone was able to shed any more light on it. Again, I'll put in some pictures at the end so you'll get a better shot of it. So as I said, unused. So I gave it a bit of a clean up. Now, I have a friend on Instagram who he collects old and used pipes. He buys them off the internet and then he restores them himself, cleans them up and then puts them to good use. And he has a really unique way of adding a finish to the pipe, and that is that he seasons it with whiskey. So that was in the back of my mind when I was thinking about maybe bringing this pipe back into use. And I spoke to my friend John, and thankfully he talked me through the steps of how to do it. And basically what I've done, and again I'll pop in a picture, is I've paired the pipe up with a malt whiskey known as Dimple. And when I was born, my granddad bought 2 bottles. One bottle was quickly finished, the other bottle was put away, and on my 50th birthday my mum gave me the bottle in question. And so there's been a few jams taken out of it, and I thought, well, what better whiskey to use than the Dimple that belonged to my granddad. So the process was quite easy. Once the pipe was clean, I just basically plugged up the end of the stem and then filled the bowl with whiskey, and it's just a matter of letting it evaporate back into the wood. And so it took about 5-6 days, and here's a little snapshot to show you. So once the whiskey had evaporated into the wood, I then left it for another few days just to make sure it was completely dry. And today is the first run out, and I have to say it's smoking really, really well. And I thought the whiskey might be too overpowering. It might overpower whatever tobacco you have in there. A bit like the Bothy Flake, which has that whiskey flavouring, but it's not as strong as that. There is, just at the back of the smoke, you can taste that slight sweetness from the Dimple, but it's really, really nice. And John has told me after a few bowls you can redo the process, and you can re-season it again. So after a few bowls, if you find that slight sweetness is disappearing, you can redo the process. So but yeah, as a first try, I'm really impressed. And the wind's slightly picking up there, and I actually just love the shape of this pipe, and it's nice and light, although the bowl itself is quite big. So yeah, there's plenty of smoking time in there. So that leads me on to what's actually in the bowl. So let me show you. So as luck would have it, I made my choice before coming to work. I was on a 24-hour shift, so I was doing a sleepover. So I had to choose my tobacco the day before, and weirdly, I've gone for another one off my good friend Gary, Old and in the Way, one of his samples, and it's the Watch City Nor'easter. And with the gale that's blowing on behind me and around me, it's definitely a perfect choice, and it's matching well with my coffee this morning. Cheers. So yeah, a good a nice strong smoke, and with that little bit of sweetness coming through from the whiskey and the wood, it's a really nice pairing, and as I said, a perfect choice on a day like today. So I was thinking of going for a little wander around by the harbour, but that wind is just it's just a bit too breezy, so it's not going to be that pleasant, especially trying to have a pipe. So I'm actually quite happy just sat here. As I said, it's quite sheltered in this little mini tunnel. You can probably hear the wind picking up right behind me now. So yeah, I shall sit here and finish what's in the bowl, and be thankful for my gran for holding on to this and then passing it on to me. And yeah, I could share some thoughts of myself on my granddad and what he would have made of this renovation and the whisky finish. I'm sure, I'm quite sure he would approve. So on that happy note, I'll say goodbye and look forward to you joining me on the next video. But until then, as always, my name's Shearer. Enjoy your smokes.